We have hit over $1 million raised in Western New York since we started the nonprofit. Currently, we're in the middle of adopting close to 400 kids for the holidays. These are kids through the CASA program, through Mental Health Advocates. These are kids that are going through the most abusive households in the county. So for us to step in and help them for the holidays, like what a privilege it is to do that.
What does it mean to plant your flag? It means you're not afraid.
It means you're passionate about what you do.
It means you're here to serve others.
In business, in life.
In good and bad.
You aren't afraid to fly your colors proudly because you know
you serve a greater purpose. This is the Plant Your Flag podcast with Mike Bean
and Jeremy Mountain.
Hello and welcome back. It's the Plant Your Flag podcast with Bean Media. I'm one of your two hosts, Jeremy Mountain, Director of Marketing here at Bean Media, and I am here with Kate Glaser.
Hi.
Planter of many flags. Probably, I would say, our biggest celebrity locally to date, and also our first founder of a nonprofit to date in our 25th episode. If you like what we're doing here, please share it with someone, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. But we have a lot to get to here because Kate is a very busy woman. Thank you for coming and joining us today, Kate.
Thank you. And I should never be called a celebrity. That is crazy to me. I just like to have a good mark in my community. So, a leader, I would say. But yeah, absolutely.
You got
I'm happy
it.
to be here.
We'll cut it out. So I wrote down a couple of the titles that are on your resume. Journalist, director of marketing, consultant, producer, founder. Who are you? Like, who do you just named leader, but with so many different hats worn over a career already. What do you call yourself when you introduce yourself?
Well, I'm a proud Buffalonian, so I grew up in Buffalo, in Tonawanda specifically, and I'm a mom of 3 kids, so happy to be, in their world as well. Trying to wrangle them is a whole job in itself. So mom, Buffalonian, business owner. So I own a marketing business, which is so exciting. I have a lot of really amazing clients. Also a nonprofit founder. So Hope Rises is a nonprofit, a 501c3. And then, of course, I'm a journalist as well, which I love being. I would really call myself a storyteller because I feel like I do a lot of news media, but I also do a lot on social, trying to really tell people's stories and trying to make a positive impact within that storytelling.
And it's obvious if, you've ever seen her, you probably have seen her somewhere along the line. I know when I told my dad that I was going to be interviewing you, he was very excited.
Oh,
so
shout out to Dad.
Yeah,
That's
Randy.
very cool.
Randy out in Cheek to Vegas.
Hey, Randy. I love that.
He's going to love that. But we typically start off each episode, and I guess we'll maybe focus on, because this is the Plant Your Flag podcast, and it's sort of, the founder or entrepreneurial side of things. I guess we'll kind of focus on Hope Rises, but I'm sure we'll meander around a bit. Because that was, I guess, to ask you, that was the first flag you personally planted to be your own kind of entity?
Yeah, so Hope Rises was a blog initially back in 2017, and from there, it transformed into this entire global sort of like brand. It's a media platform. It's now a 501c3 business, a 501c3 nonprofit, and then also I have a sidebar business, Hope Rises Network, where I take on clients. So yes, Hope Rises is sort of the umbrella of all the goodness that is coming out of this amazing brand.
And who was it, or what was it that truly gave you, I guess, the fortitude and or inspiration to finally take that step and kind of step out on your own?
Yeah, I mean, I was in marketing at the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and I also worked for Mercy Flight, so I was their PR director at both places, and really loved working there. Like nonprofit work is just so meaningful. So if you are lucky enough to work for a nonprofit, you don't do it for the dollars because you don't make a lot of money. But if you love the mission, you're really making a difference and you're changing lives. I think the biggest thing for me was I knew I was hitting a glass ceiling at both of those places. So I felt like I had the ability to kind of start my own thing Did I know it would grow into my full-time career? No. I just really love telling stories and creating a community that likes to rally around good things. But Hope Rises was just a simple idea to tell stories initially, and never expected it to turn into such a global movement of goodness and charity and celebrities coming together to give back with us. Like, never in a million years did I expect that to happen. But I have a lot of faith, and I just kind of went with every single day trying to make a difference. I actually just created this new slogan. It's
Breaking news
I know,
here on the
breaking
Plant Your
news.
Flag podcast.
I did not share it yet, but I think it's a great slogan. So Hope, HOPE, we help one person every day.
Ooh.
So
Check.
that's it. Help one person every day. Did I expect us to have all these followers? No. But my goal was to try to help someone every single day, whether it's telling their story or making a donation or holding the door open for someone. All those little acts of kindness, they matter. Because life is so hard and life is so tragic sometimes. You never know what people are going through in their own lives or their own heads, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we can just be kind, that's as simple as it is. And that's what Hope Rises stands for, is just being a good person, being kind, and leaning into stories that can make a difference and really impact people.
Do you think that you would, have this power without faith, A, and then B, without your experience in journalism?
Yeah, I think journalism has a big part of it, because storytelling is journalism, right? Like, I love telling stories. Would I be as passionate if I didn't like telling stories? Probably not. A lot of my stories have a little bit of a journalistic spin to them. So it's not just like, sharing a GoFundMe and being like, donate here.
Right.
We really try to tell the story of that person or that family or whatever it is. So yeah, I have a big love for journalism. I was a TV reporter for a long time. But yeah, faith is something that guides me. It definitely helps me in every single thing I do, whether it's my business or it's my family or it's my personal moves. So I think both of them together, just having the talent to be able to take my passion and turn it into a career. I just feel so lucky to be able to do that. And there's days where I'm exhausted and I'm just like, I don't want to do this. Like, it's just so hard. And then I think about it and I'm like, well, I prayed for this. I prayed for things to work out. And now that they are working out, like, this is what I wanted. So suck it up and do it, right? And, I get to really make a difference every single day. And like, how lucky is that, right?
Yeah, and it is. I can feel a lot of what you're saying, and I agree. And I don't want to talk too much about myself here, but I too have learned over the course of my life that it is sort of a double-edged sword in what you ask for, because if you truly want something, you're going to get it, but you also have to be prepared to handle it.
Yeah.
And do you find it challenging being in so many places at once?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the work-life balance, people ask me, like, what is your work-life balance, like, sort of mantra, or like, how do you make it work? And I don't have a work-life balance. I feel like everything blends into my work, whether it's like my family getting involved in give backs, my children coming with me to a trunk or treat to give back to the East Side, or, weekends spent sort of like, I don't know, doing charity work or meeting someone that we've impacted. It all blends together. So do I think my work is my work and my personal life is my personal life? Not really. Everything flows into each other. So I think if you have a brand, you have to have that mindset that every single day you're working on it. There's no days off. Even on vacation, I have to feel a little bit plugged in. I do have a great team around me, but ultimately it comes down to me leading the nonprofit and the business and the brand.
It's truly inspiring. And I feel like one thing that I sort of always share with people when they come on is that's something that when I first started with Mike, I was sort of in a strange position where I liked journalism, I liked production, I liked storytelling, but I didn't know how that was going to equate to money and survival.
Sure.
And I also didn't necessarily want to sign up for a corporation type job. I've got friends that work in big companies here in Buffalo and they're happy, but I always just wanted to sort of be a part of something organic. And that's why this podcast is kind of existing. And when I walked into our old office in the Tri-Main Center, I'm like looking around, I'm like, holy shit, this is what I could have if I worked for 10 years. Or I could just hop on with this guy who was, not afraid to take some steps on his own. And it's allowed me personally to continue to grow as an individual and a professional, all while kind of feeling the positive pressure of there is no one that's going to come save us if, we don't keep doing the right things and working with people the right way and forging relationships. And that's something Mike's always been very good at, and I've learned a lot from. And we came up with a saying a few years ago, where it was like, there's a lot of people out there to work with, but I said to Mike, I feel like if we work with people that are doing good, it's going to work out for us.
Sure.
And a client is a client, and if they pay, they pay. But do we feel right working with this individual company? Do we align with their values? And that's where we started calling our clients karma clients. We want to find good karma clients, whether they're paying X or Z, somewhere in between. If we feel that we can work with someone that's doing good things out there and doing them the right way, it's going to come back. And it certainly has. We've grown over the years, and obviously we've got a good team here, and things are going pretty well. So it's fun to hear and inspiring to hear someone that's doing it to the level of your talent, but also your, I guess, spiritual strength and what you're doing for others.
Yeah.
So it's really exciting to have you. Now let's take a little bit of a step back to little Kate. You mentioned to me prior to this that you knew at 6 years old that you wanted to be a journalist. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I think I just grew up like loving news. I didn't really watch cartoons. I was really more of like a news gal. I don't know, sitting next to my mom and watching. She always watched the Today Show with Katie Couric. And crazy enough, Katie Couric follows Hope Rises.
Oh,
isn't that crazy how the tables turn?
That's
and
awesome.
It's pretty cool just to know that. I don't know.
Yeah.
You just don't expect that, right?
Yeah.
But I always loved storytelling. My favorite show as a kid was 2020. Do you remember 2020?
Oh, yeah.
With Barbara Walters.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing talent. I just loved her investigative reporting and how she would just uncover things that were issues in the world and how storytelling can change people's lives. So I just knew from the start that's what I wanted to do, whether it was a print journalist or a TV journalist, whatever it was. I knew that journalism was something I loved doing. I love writing. I don't know. Just over the years, I really gravitated towards that. So when I was 16, I got my first job at the Tonawanda News. I was their teen editor-in-chief. So I would instead of going to, I don't know, basketball practice or whatever sport I was into, whatever music thing I was into, I would instead go to the newspaper, not my school's newspaper, like my community newspaper, and I would work there. And I didn't really work. I just kind of volunteered my time, but that got me into then meeting the editor there who had a connection at Channel 4. So then Channel 4 took me in as an intern when I was in college, and then I got an internship from Channel 4 out at New York City at New York One News because there was a connection there. So if anyone ever wonders, how do you make all these connections? It's really the power of networking is so important, and I learned that at a young age. I walk into rooms sometimes, I don't know anyone, and it can be intimidating. It can be stressful. I have anxiety. People probably don't assume that, but it is scary walking into a room where you don't know people or people might judge you. But the biggest thing you can do is just put yourself out there. Not everyone's going to gravitate to you or like you, but at least you're trying to make friendships or connections. Or I think that's more powerful than even schooling. I know that we all have to go to college and get our master's or our bachelor's or whatever degree you have. It's important, I'm sure, right? But And there's certain careers, like if you're a doctor, you must go to school to
Mhm.
do all that. But in our field, like it's all about who you know and it's all about the connections you make. So I was able to have these amazing internships in New York City and Channel 4. And then I was hired right out of college as a reporter at this station called YNN, which is now Spectrum News. So that gave me just so much experience. And like my first couple stories, like my first couple years of being a reporter, I was god awful. I was terrible. I was such a bad reporter,
In
but I
terms of
just
your
on camera talent and certainly like nowadays I'm so comfortable in front of the camera. Like I love it. I love being on News 4. I'm on News 4 every Wednesday on Daytime Buffalo. However, when you first go on, like everyone's terrible at what they do, right? It's very hard to find someone who just has that talent.
Right.
And so I just kept pushing and like trying to better myself and watching myself and like figuring out what works best on camera. And it was a big learning lesson for me, but ultimately I knew I wanted to make a difference through storytelling. So I really remained true to that value. And all these years later, being able to kind of have my own brand that storytells and inspiring other people, raising money for causes that I believe in. I mean, it really is just so amazing to see where it's come.
Definitely. I agree. Did you find yourself getting better in terms of like improving yourself? Was it from watching yourself or just practicing in terms of being in front of the camera or watching the playback of like kind of correction?
I think just putting yourself out there every single day, like literally just showing up to work, doing your job, you get better in that every
Right,
single day. It's
right.
kind of like you're thrown in a lion's den and you
Mhm.
just got to like fend for yourself and like make it work. And I was actually a bureau reporter. So that means that I was on my own little island, meaning they stuck me in the middle of Genesee County, Batavia,
Mhm.
which is a very small town. If you don't know, it's in the middle of nowhere. It's become a lot bigger since
Right.
I've worked there. But I was covering the Genesee, Wyoming, and Orleans counties. I was their only reporter. And so I didn't have anyone to lean into. They had this little office and I had my own camera and I had to go knock on doors.
I was going to
and
say, not the easiest place to just go, hey, I'm a reporter.
yeah, it was a struggle. I did it for 3 years and I was in my young 20s and I had a lot of ambition, but I would like struggle every single day to be like, what am I going to do today? But it taught me how to think on my feet
Right.
and it taught me how to be a better investigative journalist. So I made a lot of really great connections. I would just sometimes go and sit at the local, restaurant diner and just like talk to people. And that's where I got a lot of my stories. So if I had a slow day, I'd just
That's
like go sit
interesting.
there and like just kind of like hang out and figure out what I was going to do. But it took a lot of pre-planning. It took a lot of like weeks ahead trying to set stories up and everything. But I absolutely loved it. And I look back on those days and they were really tough, but I had so much fun. And I couldn't believe that someone took a chance on me to be a reporter. So that's like, I was so grateful for the
Right.
opportunity.
Do you find gratitude to be sometimes one of the best medicines when you mentioned like those days where, you're challenged, there's things that are feeling like they're mounting up and you don't really have it. I personally have found gratitude to be one of the best, like centering things in terms of like, okay, let's find some gratitude. Do you sort of practice that?
Yeah, I think I'm like, I don't know if I practice it, but I definitely like try to take a step back and really realize that I'm just really blessed to be where I am and to have 3 healthy children. Like I think about that too, because I raise a lot of money for kids who are sick and just to be a mom of like 3 healthy kids is a blessing in itself. So I try to really take a step back and remember that when I'm having hard days or like days where I'm just unhappy because
Right.
that happens,
Yeah, it's
right?
real.
Like we
Yeah.
all are unhappy here and there, but we also have to remember that we're so lucky to even like live where we live.
Yeah.
So I really try to take that into account and I tell a lot of really hard stories. So I get to kind of remember all that
Right. It
like here and
has
there.
to go somewhere.
Mhm.
What is it, do you feel, that you possess internally that led you to being now a business owner?
Yeah. I just wanted to make money. I mean, truly, that's what it comes down to. I'm a hustler. I've always been a hustler. I love to make money. I love to I don't know, like I guess spread my talents to multiple different clients and things like that. I love meeting new people. I love to travel. So obviously travel is not cheap. So I like to take my family on vacation a lot. So every single year we have at least a trip because I feel like I'm so busy that it gives me the time to spend with them, my kids and my husband. So for me, I just kind of live an expensive life and I know that. So I think my biggest thing was I needed to be able to make money. And the best way to make money is to kind of put yourself out there and to start a business and just like work towards it. So I can make as much money as I want or as little money as I want. Depends how hard I want to work. But over the years, I've just been able to grow and grow and grow. And it's not easy. Running a business is actually probably the hardest thing you can do, but it's amazing to see how the hard work does pay off.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. I don't know if anyone's ever answered that question here, and it makes sense because it's like that's you can't have one without the other in our world. Who is it, would you say, that helped you the most to sort of put that Kate Glaser flag in the ground?
I don't know.
Knowing you're independent, because you did say that. But
I am. I don't know. I feel like I've just always been very independent. Yes, I have people around me that have helped me, but I will say that like a lot of it comes from just this internal, like I need to succeed. And I've always kind of had that. I mean, maybe it's how I grew up. I didn't grow up like very with a lot. So I always felt like I want to be in such a better position than I was when I was younger. So maybe like it's that internal, just like making sure that I have what I want in life. And it ultimately comes down to me trying to get that. I don't lean on anyone else to kind of like grow the brand because the brand is mine, right? So yeah, I have a team around me, but ultimately if I don't work hard, then it's not going to grow.
That's interesting. It's interesting to feel your energy, and you're such a delicate person, but there's such a like warrior spirit beneath this persona. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Let's get over to the Hope Rises. I mean, we've talked a little bit about it. You mentioned sort of how it became and how we got here, but before it, you don't seem like you've changed too much, but do you feel internally, maybe not necessarily Kate, but maybe your perspective on the world or on business ownership, or what changed from before you had to manage your own kind of deal to who you are today, having lived it?
So rephrase the question.
If we look at who Kate was before Hope Rises and who
it.
Kate is after,
Yeah.
was there any difference?
Yeah, I mean, I've certainly grown so much in my confidence and just how I operate, and even just like the boundaries I set on myself. Like, I guess for a long time, I've always been kind of like a people pleaser in a way, like trying to make sure that everyone liked me. As you grow, it actually gets really difficult to have people surround you because there's a lot of criticism when you grow in your brand. I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but
Not yet.
as I grow,
I hope to. I hope to get to
it
that
can be
level.
tough because
Yeah.
you got to have a thick skin because people are very judgy.
Oh yeah.
They're very judgmental. My friends and I talk about this a lot. Sometimes we're just like happy to be who we are, and people can say, well, why is she wearing that? Or why is she doing that? Or why did she partner with this person? Or why is she raising money for this person? I think the biggest thing that I've had to learn is like, I want to grow and I'll continue to grow, but I have to not worry about what people think or say, because as long as I'm doing what I love and I'm being a genuine person that wants to help, that is what I need to focus on. So I have learned that as I grow, it actually gets harder, but you have to just learn to not like lean into the negativity.
Right.
And I think a lot of times, like I look at really mega celebrities and the pressure they must be under is insane. And like, do they have mental breakdowns or do they go through like hard periods? Yes, but I can't even imagine the level of anxiety or pressure they're under to have such a big brand. Like, I only get a microdose of that with the brand I have that is like a bigger brand locally, but
Right.
it's not like I don't know, I'm not like this big celebrity. So I actually kind of understand like
Right.
what they go through, and I can feel for them because it really is tough to like continuously have people's eyeballs on you, judging your every move. And sometimes you question yourself, but you have to remember that like you're doing the best you can.
And sticking on the goal and staying focused on being a leader and not losing track because someone's trying to stick an arrow in your back. I
Yeah.
could certainly see like the higher you go, because I mean, you look at celebrities, athletes, it's like you get high enough, you're going to have haters.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, do you use that as motivation? But it seems like it's all part of the experience. And it's almost like if you can, I would think that eventually it would become almost like a challenge to not disagree with that person, but just continue doing what you're doing enough so that someday they're going to change their mind and maybe follow suit a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, in what you do versus, a musician or, other celebrities, I think there's certainly a difference with all the philanthropic work that you do. So understanding that, making money is a motivation, what would be the most fulfilling aspect of having this brand personally?
Raising money for others. I mean, we have hit over $1 million raised in Western New York since we started the nonprofit. That goes from anywhere to helping children fighting cancer, to helping our military veterans, to helping with mental health support for those in need. Currently, we're in the middle of adopting close to 400 kids for the holidays. These are kids through the CASA program, through Mental Health Advocates. These are kids that are going through the most abusive households in the county. So for us to step in and help them for the holidays, like what a privilege it is to do that. So when I talk about where is this money going, it's going to provide hope where hope is needed in Western New York. And that is probably the most fulfilling thing, like having a community of people that believe in us enough to join us in our mission to give back and to write us checks. I mean, to really have the belief in us that the money, the trust, that the money that you write will go towards the right causes and the right people. So that's been so rewarding for me.
Do you find that is a large aspect of some of the judgment or criticism or questioning of Kate is the aspect of the nonprofit?
The nonprofit can be tough because anywhere there's money, people can be judgy, right? Like,
and
if
the
there's
more
money,
that's on the check is, well, how much is she getting?
Yeah. No, I can proudly say that our charity, actually, no one makes any money. There's no one on the payroll. A lot of charities, obviously, you have workers, you have executive directors.
Yeah.
And it's normal for people to make money off of
People
a nonprofit.
don't understand that.
Yes. I worked
definitely
for
a
two nonprofits for a long time. I made great money, right? I mean, as much as I could in a nonprofit world.
Right.
But we are a volunteer-run organization. So the really amazing thing is that we don't have a payroll. I mean, we did recently get a grant from New Era Cap Foundation to hire a director, but that was specifically through a grant fund.
Right.
So it's not cutting into the checks that are like written to us for our program. So we were lucky enough to have that opportunity, but that was 4 years of me kind of like running the nonprofit as a volunteer and drowning, doing as much as I could, and this amazing organization, New Era Cap, seeing the work we were doing and wanting to support it in this beautiful way. So we recently hired an executive director who is part-time because we didn't want to, sort of like any sort of funds that come through, we want to make sure we're using it properly and wisely. So we were able to hire someone, but that was 4 years into the nonprofit of like busting my butt to like make it work. So we are so proud to say that we are a volunteer run nonprofit though. Really, there's just a bunch of people that are passionate about giving back and they all want to support in some way.
How many are on the team?
The nonprofit, there are, I think 18 board members that are a part of it. And then we have like hundreds of volunteers and then like people who want to support different events.
That's an army.
It is an army. So, And then for a long time, that was me leading all of that and then also running my business and the media platform and being a mom. Like it was a lot and it became too much.
Yeah.
So my executive director, Samantha, she's part-time with us. She leads all that communication with the donors and with the volunteers and with our board. So it really has been a huge help.
What's it like going from being, I guess, the soldier in the front of the army to having to delegate now
Yeah.
to a general or whatever you want to call it in this example? Is it difficult to now delegate and trust someone else with your brand?
I will say it's a very important thing for leaders to have delegating, sort of like people that they delegate to, because if you don't, you're going to burn yourself out. Like we are just human. So burnout is a very real thing. So while it's hard, I still remain sort of that front facing person, but to be able to give someone the ability to help and do a lot of the back end work has been like instrumental.
Awesome. Freed up some of your like mind space to be
Yes.
able to continue doing what you
Yes.
need to do. Yeah, I mean, that is a little bit like going back to when I first started here, seeing Mike start his own thing. It was like, all right, well, what more can he do if he has someone that he trusts to kind of watch his back? And it's been a rewarding experience not having to sort of go to company XYZ, the big companies that people maybe in our industry, journalism, production, quit and go and just accept it and say, okay, I'm going to go get a real job.
Yes, sure.
So, it's at least allowed me to kind of be myself here and then get to work once again with all these different companies, and MHA being one of them. Like that's another example of like knowing Mike and getting to know him and seeing the person he is, to be able to assist with things that we do, storytelling, targeting, getting the right message in front of the right people, not only for a business that's selling something, but a company or a business like MHA is, I mean, that the teen chat, Mike obviously was a big part of finding the people. That was not easy to do, to create that. And like someone might think like, yeah, it's just a chat, but it was a lot of hours that I was able to see him personally put into spending time talking to developers, being on meetings, and like you said, the burnout can be real, and you like to be a part of something that you get to come in and be yourself, but also help others. So what advice would you have personally as now a business owner to someone out there, whether they're in journalism, production, or doing something that they have a dream, they have a fortitude that they feel maybe they're a little afraid or skeptical that it could really happen? What would you say to someone out there that's kind of doubting themselves?
Yeah, I think just take the first step and just every single day, like I said, do something to have your business or your brand grow. Can be as little as a small task and as big as putting yourself out there on the media or doing something like that. I guess not being afraid to just make a move. Fear holds a lot of people back. Fear of judgment, fear of like people not accepting you. I think the biggest thing you can do is just be brave and make that first step and continue to every single day do something to tackle something on your list for the brand.
Do you think faith can overcome fear? Do you think faith helps to be brave?
Yeah, I mean, not everyone has like a faith in something,
Right.
but I certainly do, and I feel like that has helped me immensely. I'll always say that, so I believe in it, but not everyone has that, and that's okay. I think the biggest thing is just to have faith in yourself if you don't have faith in something else.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, 100%.
That's an interesting way to put it.
Yeah.
As far as Hope Rises, what do you feel you and the rest of your army do best, and how do you differ from just other nonprofits? Understanding there's a lot of amazing nonprofits that do amazing things. That's why they exist. But what do you guys do best?
I think we try to rally the community. We're kind of like that conduit of kindness. So rallying the community around good causes, whether we're writing a check or we're telling the story or we're just, connecting people. So, sometimes I can't help a nonprofit because it just doesn't make sense with what we're doing at that moment. But I can say, well, I know someone who can help you. Like I have this great company who can like guide you in this or maybe offer you this grant. So I really try to be also like a big connector. So like if I can't help you, I will do my best to try to connect you to someone who can help you.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I'm sure you've got a long Rolodex of people with all the work that you do. Funniest, strangest, weirdest, or coolest thing that you've done in your career? It's kind of an open-ended question, but is there one thing that sticks out to you that you just kind of never forgot?
Yeah, I think there's two things. So we got to work with Jelly Roll on like a sort of a wish for a girl.
Oh, okay.
She unfortunately passed away from cancer, but prior to her passing, she had terminal cancer, and she was unable to have her sort of make a wish fulfilled because I don't even know. There was something that she couldn't have that wish granted. So we had reached out to Jelly Roll's team, and she loves Jelly Roll. And we had put on Hope Rises that she wanted to meet him. He was coming to Darien Lake to Live Nation. And he was flying in like right before the concert. So like there wasn't much time for him to meet her, have like a really good experience with her. He actually rearranged his flights. I don't know if it
Wow.
was him or his agent that did it, but he
I'm sure he
rearranged.
told the agent too. He seems like a
think he
really
did.
good dude.
I think he did. I wasn't texting Jelly Roll. I was texting his agent. But he was able to fly in like 2 hours earlier and have like an hour with this girl. Her name was Autumn, and her family came in as well. So we had this really beautiful like hour with Jelly Roll backstage, and it was so beautiful. And then she ended up obviously having like the best seats in the house. He acknowledged her during the concert, pointed to her, shared how much he was so honored to meet her. And then she got to go to the swag table or the swag like tent and literally take whatever she wanted. It was on Jelly Roll's wallet, which was cool. So she literally picked every single T-shirt that she could have at the. I told her to. I was like, if he's gonna pay for everything,
Yeah.
you load up, you know. So,
Yeah.
but it was something her mom like. The experience was something that her mom will cherish forever. That this mega celebrity took the time to really get to know this little girl. And that was, of course, like so cool that we were involved because we got to really tell the story and kind of get the attention of Jelly Roll. So that was cool. And then when I was at New York One News, they filmed a movie there. During when I was there interning, they filmed Morning Glory with Harrison Ford was in it, Rachel McAdams, the guy from Jurassic Park, I'm forgetting his name, Jeff Goldblum
Jeff Goldblum.
was there. So I got to meet all of them, but it was cool because I was in the break room like having lunch, and we all had to sign this like thing basically saying that we could be an extra in the movie. We didn't have lines to read. It was just basically us working in the background because she was a producer in the movie. But I was having my meal. She was sitting next to me. We were chatting. I got to tell her about how much I love the Notebook.
Oh,
She was
wow.
extraordinary. She's stunning.
So she is
person.
sweet in person as she seems.
Yeah, stunning, sweet. And it was just a cool experience. Like I was not only interning at this mega TV station in New York City, but they were filming a big movie production in the same newsroom. So it worked out so well. It was just a really cool experience. And I'm not in the movie, like maybe the back of my head is,
Yeah.
but it was just a cool story.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that with
Yeah.
us. Two last things. If there was one thing you'd want someone to remember about Hope Rises from watching this interview, what would that be?
I think just being a good person and using compassion when you might be having a bad day and, you know, like you might not want to be the best person, but I always say you never know what someone's going through. So just try to be kind as you can. Like, obviously we all have good and bad days, but with Hope Rises, we really just try to be good people doing good things.
What was it? Help one person every day?
Yeah, help one person every day.
That's
I
really,
love that motto.
That's really cool.
HOPE.
I have a feeling that's gonna work out well for you.
Yeah.
How can people reach you, and what would be the best way to just set up a conversation with you?
Yeah, just reach out to us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. HopeRisesNews.com is our website. And then we can be found at Hope Rises Network on social media.
Well, thank you very much, Kate. This was a very inspiring little interview for myself and hopefully our viewers out there. And thank you as well to the audience for listening, watching, wherever you do. And be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you very much, Kate.
Thank you.
Do you have any personal tricks to how to stare down the barrel of the lens? Because I'm not good at it.
I'm glad you're saying my name right because most people say Glaser. Am I okay to have my phone on the table?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
3, 2.
Get you
Sounds
out
good.
of here. So you could do more important things.
No, this is important. Don't even say that.